What is up, guys? My name is Colby Bravo. I am the head personal trainer here at Kingdom Fit, and I'm here to drop a knowledge bomb for you. Today, the knowledge bomb is going to be about something that a lot of people have problems with. Every single person in the fitness industry or anybody who has goals and is working towards their goals has a problem with, and that's nutrition. There's a big controversy, and a lot of people talk about calories versus macros. Which one's more convenient to count? In my opinion, I would stick with macros. There's a bunch of different reasons why, and today I'll show you why macros is more lenient and probably fits your lifestyle better than counting calories. What are macros? Macros are 3 categories of nutrients that you eat more than anything else. You eat a large amount of them, so it's a macronutrient. Macronutrients are also going to provide you with the most energy throughout your entire day. So when we count macros, there's 3 categories. Like I said, we have proteins, we have carbs, and we have fats. So when you count macros, you are counting the grams of proteins, carbohydrates, and fat that you eat in the entire day. Which is important because these 3 things control a lot more than what you really think. First, you have proteins. Counting your proteins is important because it ensures you keep the muscle that you have, which is the most important part of what we're doing. Ensuring that we're keeping the muscle and we're growing new muscle. That's what protein is. Carbohydrates are, everybody's scared of carbohydrates, and we shouldn't be. Carbohydrates are there for energy. Now, if we eat too many carbohydrates, we can't store that as fat. But if we're smart about it and we count our macros correctly, we can actually use carbs to our advantage for energy and to grow new muscle as well. Then you have fats. They taste so good. But fats aren't good for you. There are good fats, but we have to eat them in moderation. Fats are going to be responsible for energy, but also hormonal production. So if we're not getting in enough fats, that can mess up hormones, and that's something we don't want to have. We don't have to deal with that. Having no control of your hormones can mess with your sleep. You won't get good sleep. You won't stay asleep. You can't fall asleep. Energy will plummet. You won't have good energy. The reason fats are so important is because behind the scenes, they're responsible for hormones. And hormones are just things you don't want to get messed up. What we have is, why do people count macros? I think counting macros is an efficient and a lenient way to enjoy a diet and still make gains and still hit goals. A lot of the times diets have, I don't like the word diet. The word diet sometimes scares people. But when it comes to diets, a lot of people think it's chicken and rice or something bland and boring all day. And it doesn't have to be like that. With macros, it's lenient. We set certain numbers, and if you hit your numbers, essentially you can eat what you want. Why you want to count macros and not calories? Every calorie is not the same. And I mean that by this. When we eat a gram of protein, it's 4 calories. 1 gram of carb, 4 calories. Watch this. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. That's double. That's double and 1. This is what gets people in trouble. Carbs don't make people fat. Fats make people fat. If we don't have control over our fat intake, this 9 calories compared to 4 calories, this can do damage. So what counting macros does is it sets a number of an amount of food that you're supposed to eat throughout the day. So you have a protein number, you have a carbohydrate number, and you have a fat number. I'll give you my numbers right now. Don't copy my numbers because they won't work for you. Everybody's body's different. So my protein intake throughout the entire day is 200 grams of protein, 200 grams of carbs, and 70 grams of fats. My protein is high enough, I can keep my muscle, and I can add new muscle. My carbs are right where they need to be to provide me energy throughout the day, but they're not high enough to store as body fat. And my fats are at 70 grams. This is going to help with my energy, my recovery, and my hormonal production, which is super important. Okay, so there's a big comparison about which one you should do. And in my opinion, counting calories and counting macros are damn near the same. Counting macros is taking a step further when it comes to counting calories. So when we take a step further, we are ensuring that we are eating for a purpose instead of just eating. Because a lot of people have this thought process when it comes to a diet of just eating, and it's eating and eating and eating and boring, and we need to change that process. We need to eat to fuel. Eat to fuel our body, and then eat to recover from the workouts that we do. Counting macros is just counting calories, but a step further. It makes you pay more attention, and when you pay more attention, you care. You notice the small changes. It makes you think a little bit more. Why calories can be tricky. So we broke down up here, everything is not the same. All calories are not the same. If we were, so to say, eating on a 2,000 calorie a day diet. So every single day I'm eating 2,000 calories throughout the entire day. What's your makeup of your calories? How much protein are you eating? How many carbs are you eating? What if half of your calories are from your fats because you're not paying attention? You're probably lethargic, you probably don't have the best energy, and you probably plateau super fast and you don't make the gains that need to be made. Counting macros is breaking down your calorie intake. You're eating enough protein to recover, you're eating enough carbs for energy, and you're eating enough fats for hormonal production. Now, macros can be tricky too as well, because with macros you can eat what you want when you want. And that means you can fit cookies in too. That means you can fit ice cream in. That means you can fit whatever you want into your diet. Does that mean you should try to cheat the system and only eat sweets all day and still hit your numbers? No. Because if we're being honest, you still have to eat healthy on macros. It's not like you can just hit these numbers and it magically falls off. Because if we don't follow our protein, fats, and carbs rules, we will not maintain and put on new muscle, which is important of cutting body fat. We will not have enough carbs, which is important for our energy throughout the day, and fat-wise, that can throw everything off with hormones. So, I have a rule when it comes to macros, and that's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, eat clean, eat healthy, eat something. Most of the time you're not going to want to eat, but eat something that's going to benefit you and your goals. Then 20% of the time, eat something you want, eat something you crave, eat something you talk about to your friends. But just watch your portions, because at the end of the day, the name of the game is portion control. You can eat what you want if you monitor everything, if you track everything, if you're watching your protein, carbs, and fats. This is why counting macros, in my opinion, is more beneficial than counting calories. More into the 80-20. Eat the rainbow. Like I said, you can try to cheat the system. You can try to eat cookies. You can eat all the good foods, but you still need to remember to eat healthy. Still eat the rainbow. Still getting your daily servings of vegetables and your daily servings of fruit, because it's important. There are other benefits and there are other factors of eating the other foods outside of eating macros, and you have to make sure your vegetables and your fruits are one of those foods. What should my macros be? This is going to be different for every single person on the planet. There is no person who should have the same macros. There is no person who should have the same cardio. There is no person whose training should be the same. Macros should be personalized. I mean, you might get lucky and your friend eats relatively close to what you're eating, but eventually down the road your macros are going to be completely different because your bodies are completely different. Your metabolism is completely different. Your sleep is completely different. Your training is completely different. Everything's completely different. So your macros will always be different. So everybody's body is different. So that means everybody's food intake is going to be different. For protein, 10 to 35% of your calories need to come from from protein source. 45 to 65% of your calorie intake needs to come from carbs. This is what scares people, because people think carbs are bad when carbs really aren't bad. We found out what can be bad if we don't follow the plan. Here's the hard part: receiving the information that you get. You will be told how many calories, you will be told how many macros, how much protein, fats, and carbs you should eat throughout the day. You can receive all that information. Next is up to you. If you fall off your numbers, get back on to your numbers. We will fall off. That's part of the process. That's part of the game. Nobody goes from point A to point Z. Boom. Like this. There will be valleys. You will have highs. You will have lows. Make sure when you do experience a low, you hop right back on to the plan and do what needs to be done. You can find all of that stuff online. You can find your calculators online. But if you come down here to Kingdom Fit, we are doing free consultations, and we can, one, have a workout program written up for you, and we can have a nutritional program written out for you as well. We can have variety into the diet. We will go mainly on a macro plan, but we will also write your diet for you so you don't have to think about it, because that thinking about the diet sometimes makes it harder. So when you don't have to think about it, you're more apt to follow those plans. After you're done watching this, make sure you like and subscribe, please. So after you're done watching the video, make sure you watch the previous videos of how to design and come up with your own split. Check out our Instagram, check out our Facebook. We are here to help you, and remember, you got this.